Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vasyatya Desatarine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Hare Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Prabhu Nityananda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Gurudev Srila Gurudev पावन हरिनाम संकीर्तन की श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे। Welcome all of you. This is a very special type of session. I had discussed with His Grace Leelananda Prabhu about having once in a month this type of program where we gather for an hour, all the preachers. I also have come here today to thank all of you for helping our youth preachers. Our Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Prabhu is heading the youth forum in the temple. The brahmacharis always fall short because they are in saffron, their shaven head. They are often seen by the mass of people up and down, like they see a animal in the zoo. Oh, these 700 fellows, where have they come from? And they're wearing different type of dress, and they find it difficult to relate with them, connect with them. That's where the grhastha devotees play a very powerful role. I'll tell you a real story. We used to have these camps, Sankalp camp or Smriti camp before. Many times the boys get a doubt. Hey, I think these fellows have brought us for the camp to shave us up and admit us in the temple, like them. Huh? And some of them run away in between the camp only. So in one camp, I had suggested you get one couple, husband, wife, and child. Let them also give a program. So they gave a class, and at the end of the camp, the boys wrote down, what inspirations they received. They said the best part of the camp was we saw a couple along with the child also. That means Krishna consciousness can be practiced even while living in the society. Doing a job. It's not only reserved for the monks. It's for one and all. That's what convinced them the most, they said. So after that, in many of our camps, we include a grhastha couple to come and encourage the boys. Recently, when I was in Boston, I used to, 2 weeks, we did a very rapid program. Monday, we would do OTP, one-time program in the temple. Both the Mondays, we called students from various colleges, and almost 130, 140 students came for the OTP in the temple. Because in America, if you say we have a nice prasadam plate at the end of the program, an Indian cuisine prasad, and Indians are hankering for good prasad in the West. And we had drama and everything. And of course, both the weeks we got 130, 140 youths came Mondays. Then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 4 days we did Gita in a nutshell. And weekend we took them out for a retreat. But surprisingly, our temple president told me that we are not going to any retreat place outdoor. In some resort or something. We are going to a house, he said. I was surprised. I said, oh, house may be small. How we can do a program? He said, no, you are not seen. So he took us. So when we went, we were about 15 boys had come for the retreat. And the ground floor was the family living, and the top floor they gave us fully. And the house was surrounded with a lot of greenery, lawn. And there were shady trees and everything. It was like a villa type of thing. So it was a grihastha's house, where Prabhuji and Mataji, they cooked upma, they made, in Tamil they call vadam. Vadam means somewhat like a papad type of thing. They made papad, they made, upma and all that, and half of the items they made and half items came from the temple. And boys, attended all the classes and everything. At the end, many boys said the best part of the camp was, it was a homely atmosphere. We felt as if we have gone back to India to our home. They said we felt like that. Because they had a small boy, son. He also acted in our Kailash drama. We put him as Kailash son. So he also acted in the drama. So both the weekends we had in 2 different houses like that. So that was the time I was thinking that brahmacharis and grihasthas collaboratively, if they preach, they can do wonders in society. And grihastha couples can act as an interface between brahmacharis and the mass of society, and that will be great help. So like Praveen Prabhu once came for giving a lecture, and many of them heard he's from Microsoft. And many boys were, very eager to come. And then they heard the lecture. Even somebody from Microsoft is not only favorable to Krishna consciousness, he is chanting 16 rounds. So many of the boys increased the rounds after seeing that, yes, even very materially successful people also, can become Krishna's devotees, serious devotees. So they were very inspired. So I especially appreciate His Grace Leelananda Prabhu for, identifying all of you as preachers in the mass of like 150 to 200 devotees who are connected to Leelananda Prabhu and Anuradha Mataji. In that program, it has been building bigger and bigger. It actually deserves a temple there. And And that community has found out all of you as outstanding devotees who are, you have been DCS, there, devotee care servants for many years, taking care of so many devotees. Now, you are not only a devotee care servant, we are also a preacher now. You are also going to colleges and you're doing one-time programs and other programs and all. So, and he has been always sending me mails and details about all of you and how you are doing. So I was very thrilled recently when I received a mail about all of your qualifications and how you are taking part in the preaching. I was very thrilled. So I suggested him that we can have this type of forum where the main purpose that I thought of this forum was, one of the things is, when you reach out to the youth in the colleges, if they ask you questions, which you may feel that it would be nice to clarify. I answer questions of so many people across the globe writing mails to me and I respond to them. But I have a special desire that I should specifically give my audience and time to those who are preachers, answering their questions, what they may get in the audience. Sometimes the audience may ask a very difficult question. Like, for example, when Prabhupada was in the West, one man asked him, Swamiji, how can there be bad in this world? That is because there must be some bad in God. Otherwise, how can there be any bad in this world? Everything ultimately comes from God. No? So, okay, we agree that good comes from Him. Bad also must be coming from Him. Without bad being in Him, how is it coming? Yes. Prabhupada gave a very simple answer. Prabhupada said, when you look at the sun, there is no shadow. When you turn your back to the sun, you see the shadow. Similarly, when you look at God, He is free from all blemish. He is completely pure. He is actually called as Anavadyam in Sanskrit. Anavadyam means spotlessly pure. But when you turn your back to Him, then you see your own shadow. So that shadow is like the pride and envy and lust and anger and greed and all that Prabhupada said. And Prabhupada said, but still, even now, if you turn towards Him, we're chanting Hare Krishna, studying scriptures and aligning, you will see not only God is spotlessly pure, you will become spotlessly pure. And that man was completely satisfied. So Prabhupada had such convincing answers. Another boy said, Swamiji, whatever God has created in this world, He has created with a purpose. And Prabhupada said, yes, that's correct. So He has created tobacco. That means God wants us to smoke cigarettes. Otherwise, why did He create tobacco? That was his question. So many of the students would be stunned to answer, my Lord, what to say? Why did God create tobacco without a purpose? One may think. So Prabhupada said, if you say that you must take tobacco, then you must also take datura poison. Prabhupada said, because that is also whose creation? Krishna's creation. He has created datura poison also. It's a plant actually. If you take and eat those leaves, you will die. And the boy said, no, it will make you blind or you will die. It's very dangerous. I don't take. Prabhupada said, see, not only God has put datura poison plant, He has given you the power of discrimination to know what is edible, what is not edible. Even the yogis living in the forest, how do they know what is edible, what is not edible? They look at the monkeys. The monkeys, whichever berries they pluck and eat, the same berries yogis will eat. And if some berry looks very translucent and attractive also, the monkeys don't even touch it. Then the yogis will not touch it. Because they know it is poisonous. So God has given that sense to the man to be able to discriminate. Even monkeys. That means all the living beings are given some power of discrimination to know what is to be accepted, what is to be rejected. And amongst all the creatures, the human beings are the best in terms of the power of discrimination, to know what is short term, what is long term, what is beneficial, what is harmful, what is good for me, bad for me. The Prabhupada said, tobacco is poisonous and it is so nasty and so bad smelling, even if a donkey passes through a tobacco field, it will run very fast, not able to tolerate the smell. Then how do you think this tobacco can be consumed by man? It is. And also the effects of tobacco, you all know very well. It chars the lungs and everything. It produces cancer and all that. So Prabhupada said, knowing the after effects of consuming eatable, not only we avoid tobacco, we even avoid the tamasic foods. like onion, garlic. It's tamasic foods. They make us dull. So man has the ability to study all these things. The Prabhupada said, yes, there is good, there is bad in this world. Both are there. But we have to choose the good and give up the bad. And by using our discrimination. So the boy was convinced about it. So in the same manner, there are many questions that students may throw at us when we go for reaching out Krishna consciousness to people. So sometimes there are questions which is beyond what we have heard. There are many people who will ask you, oh, there is Devi Bhagavatam, there is Shiva Purana. All these different Puranas say, whichever Purana you touch, it says that person is supreme. You touch Shiva Purana says Shiva is supreme. And you touch Devi Bhagavatam, Devi says Devi is supreme. People say like that. And they argue with the preachers that you people are reading Bhagavad Gita, so you made Krishna as God. They will say like that. So the answer is very simple. I have a Devi Bhagavatam cutting with me. I can show you one small sample of that. I can share it. I can share it. You will show it, huh? Okay. How will they see? Yeah. So I am showing here. You will show it there. Okay. They can join on Zoom if they want. They can join. But you have to give the link. Leelanand Prabhu, here I am sitting in BYC Karadi in Pune. When these devotees came to know that I am meeting preachers there in Hyderabad in Zoom, so all these preachers have come here also here. And the local preachers from here, Karadi, they are about like 20 of them, 15, 20. They are all under the guidance of Sanatandaram Prabhu here. They are also here. So you don't mind if they join the Zoom for seeing the notes? Hey, you give the number to them. Thank you. So I'm going to share a file with you, interesting file from Devi Bhagavatam. I'll show you. And he has got, Prabhu has got the number. Everyone, yeah. So, as I'm showing here, you can see the yellow and blue highlighted portions with RSP means Radheshyam Prabhu explanations. You can see that. I have given some explanation also, you will see. See, Brahma is glorifying Devi. He's saying, we were very much astonished not to find water where our beautiful aeroplane landed us. We saw earth resonated with sweet cooings of the cuckoos, filled with beautiful fruit and all that he goes on description. Enclosed by divine wall, and then he's saying he's going to that place. Now we saw a king looking like a Deva is going out on a hunting excursion in the forest. The Devi Ambika, whom we saw before, is staying on a chariot. In an instant, our aeroplane, propelled by air, got high up above the sky and reached the twinkling of an eye at a lovely place. And we saw the Nandana gardens. There's a Surabhi, and all that he's describing. Apsaras, Parijata tree, Menaka. So this is Indra's abode he's talking about. Then as you go further, Shatakratu with Sachi, the daughter of Puloma, is describing all their heavenly planets. And it goes on like this. As we go, then gradually he will come to the, he will come to describe about Bhuvaneshwari. All these descriptions about Bhuvaneshwari are Devi. She having Sakhis on 4 sides, always chanting hymns to Maheshwari, the lady of the world. She was surrounded on her all sides by Ananga Kusuma and other Devis. She was sitting in the middle with Shatkona, 6-angled yantra. We were all wondered at the sight of the wonderful form, never seen before. We thought, who is this lady? What is her name? We know nothing of her from such a distance and all that. Is she Apsara or Gandharva daughter? Any other Deva girl? Who is she? At this junction, Bhagavan Vishnu saw closely the sweet smiling Devi and by his intelligence came to a definite conclusion and spoke to us. This is Devi Bhagavati, Mahavidya, Mahamaya, undecaying and eternal. She is the full Prakriti. She is cause of us all. And this Devi is inconceivable to those who are dull intellects. Only the yogis can see her by their yogic powers and all that. It goes on like this. She is the first creatrix of this world. And Devi with wide eyes, the lady of the universe, has produced the Vedas. The less fortunate person cannot worship her and all that. She destroys all the universe, draws within her body the subtle bodies, Linga Shariras, and plays, oh, two Devas. At present, she is residing in the form of seed of the universe. Behold on her, all that is Vibhutis and all this is here. And then here you see what I have highlighted in yellow. It is she that creates this Brahmanda and exhibits it to the Paramatma, the super self, it says. What do you find special in this? Anybody? Yeah? Why should she exhibit it to Paramatma? That means she has a reporting authority. Correct, no? See, this Devi Bhagavatam is so bulky. You have to find out like this. One thing you capture, then you will understand that, yes, like, you zoom on somebody. Like, for example, somebody is working in Microsoft company, for example. So you take on that one person's department, what services he has done, and last so many years, it will appear that he is the CEO of the company. It will look like that. But then you say, and then he reports to Bill Gates, and you say, then you understand, okay. He also is reporting to somebody. You will understand like that. And exhibits it to Paramatma says. And then here is Vishnu is saying here, you see, oh, to Devas, the whole universe and all the seers and sea and other things contained therein, oh to her as their sole cause. She is the Maya, assuming all forms. She is the goddess of all. Where is myself? Where are the Devas? Where is Lakshmi and other Devis? We cannot compare to 100,000 part of her. It is this all excellent lady whom I saw in the great ocean. When she reckoned me, who was baby then with greatest gladness. And then he says, in former days when I was sleeping on the cot made of immovable fixed leaves of banyan tree and licking my toe, making it enter within my mouth and playing like ordinary baby, this lady rocked my gentle body to and fro on the banyan leaves, singing songs like a mother. Now I recollect all what I felt before at her side, and recognize that she is Bhagavati. These very things I now communicate to you. Hear attentively that she is this lady and she is our mother, he says. So RSP, I have given explanation here. Devi is sister of Krishna, who treats Krishna in his Vatapatra Shahi form like a baby. Sometimes a elder sister puts her younger brother in a cot, She's doing like this. So that's what Lord Vishnu is describing here. You all know Krishna's child form, correct, no? As a Vatapatra Shahi. Here the Devi is like Annapurni or Bhagavati, who is giving alms to Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written that is only an allegorical description of being a mother, but she is Shakti who always has two characteristics. One characteristic of Shakti is she will always try to understand what is the desire of the Lord and only fulfill it. She will not act independently. Secondly, she knows her subordinate position to Lord. Chayeva yasya bhuvanani vivarti durga. Chayeva means like a shadow she acts. When I move my hand like this, the shadow also moves accordingly, correct, no? So she is like a shadow potency. She acts. So, in Madurai, in Tamil Nadu, there's a Meenakshi Amman temple where Vishnu is giving his sister Meenakshi in marriage to Shiva. You will see that. That's a very famous deity there. Many of the people for the marriage invitation cards, they use that picture. You will be seeing that this side Shiva is standing, this side Vishnu is standing, in between that Meenakshi Amman in green color she is standing. You will see that. She is holding a parrot in her hand. Meenakshi Amman, you will find that. So, Vishnu's sister is Devi. And she is given in marriage to Shiva. You will see that. So, therefore, you will find when Vishnu becomes like a small baby in the Vatapatra Shahi, she's putting him in a cradle and doing this. That's what he's describing. But what is Vishnu's position will come as you go ahead. If you go like that, if you go below, I have highlighted, I will show you. See, and then he says, and here also many things are coming. Oh, mother, I now realize fully well that this whole universe rests on thee. Below, in the last 4 lines, you can see. It rises from thee and again melts away in thee. The creation of this universe shows thy infinite force. Verily, thou art become thyself all these lokas. During the time of creation, thou createst the two formless elements called the Akash and Vayu, and the 3 elements with form, fire, water, and earth. And then he says, then with these, thou createst the whole universe and showest this to the enjoyer Purusha, who is of the nature of consciousness for whose satisfaction? For his satisfaction. So who is that stout his I have put? Who is that? Who is it?
Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah, Lord Krishna.
Krishna.
Yeah.
Krishna.
So that is his satisfaction. So this is what you will find in Devi Bhagavatam if you go also. It is true that, she has an active role in the Panchamahabhut and then the 3 subtle elements and all that. That's true. But she has her jurisdiction, her purview, but she is reporting to the Lord. You will see that. Yeah. In this way it goes. You will see here. See. Oh mother, we are transformed into young women before thee. See what happens here. See, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, if they go to Bhavani's abode, Bhavani will make them all Sakis. They'll turn them into female form. So they are saying here, auspicious one, how can we understand thy sport? Oh mother, we are transformed into young women before thee. Let us serve thy lotus feet. If we get our manhood, we will be deprived from serving thy feet. And thus, of the greatest happiness. Oh mother, oh sire, I do not like to leave thy lotus feet and get my man body again and regain in the 3 worlds. So I give an explanation. See here. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh assume female forms to serve Devi out of love. As sometimes a husband becomes subordinate to wife, controlled by love of his wife. Once 3 gods regain their male forms, then naturally Shakti becomes subordinate to Shaktiman. Therefore, they desire to remain in female form to serve her. Such female role assumed is a temporary lila. Husband is superior to wife in strength, but weaker than wife when he is controlled by her love, and will accept her defeat even if she lovingly beats him to ground. You agree? Is clear? Or any doubt you have? Any of you have doubt about this? You know better than me, no? We are only brahmacharis. We don't know anything. We only know theory. You have practical. Correct, Leelanand Prabhu? Huh?
Yes, bro.
Yeah. So it's a Shakti and Shaktiman. So, Tattva point of view, Shaktiman is superior. Shakti is subordinate. From a Leela point of view, who is superior? Shakti is superior, Shaktiman is subordinate. Like that we explained. So it goes on like that. Yeah. See, here is saying, oh auspicious one, I am born from the lotus discovered by thee. That means Devi discovered Brahma's birth in lotus from navel of Purusha Vishnu. Like that Devi is telling to Brahma, oh auspicious Brahma, I found that you were born in the lotus coming from the navel of Vishnu. Like that she is saying. So she is not the creator of Brahma. She is observing that Brahma is coming from Lord Vishnu's. It is only by thy help that I am able to create this creation. Oh Hari, to preserve, and Hara to destroy. So in this way it goes on. You will find there is another one who is more ancient than thee. There is another highest person who is thy substratum, he is saying. You can see that, correct, no? For Shakti, the substratum is Shaktiman. You will see that. The wise person is knowing all the laws, glad that there is one God. And it goes on like this. So in this way, why I showed you all this? Because in the same manner, if you read Shiva Purana also, you will find that, you have to, actually one goes through very meticulously. See, these are Tamasic Puranas. The Tamasic Puranas, you will find, they will boost the ego of the Tamasic people and instill faith in them in Lord Shiva or in Devi. Because that is how they will be able to continue their 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita talks about that. Different types of worship, different modes of worship, So they can, at the same time, if a person in Sattva reads this Puranas, he can capture points like this. Because there are evidences that show that even Shiva understand that there is a superior person above him. The Purusha, you'll find the same manner with Devi Bhagavatam also. But because it is not frequently spoken, it's occasionally spoken, people often tend to neglect those statements. And they only consider the hero or heroine who is greatly glorified to be the God or things like that. You will find. So, therefore, what even all of us as devotees have to do, we should take the totality of the truth. Take all the Puranas, all the Upanishads, all the Vedas, everything put together, you see. Then you understand that there is one supreme, there is one supreme Lord Purushottama, beyond whom there is none. He said, Natat samascha bhyadikascha drishyate. The Shruti mantra says that. There is no one equal to him, there is no one higher than him. Matta parataram na anyat. He says, there is no truth above Krishna. So, actually, the more you study Prabhupada books for several years, and the more you practice, understand, preach, gradually the rasa between Shiva, Krishna, Devi, Brahma, all these people will become more and more manifest in your heart. At that time, it will be more easy for it. Even now, I don't know how many of you captured the notes which I showed you, because sometimes even though we may see, because it may be too high. For example, somebody may ask you a question about Sharaba, or somebody may ask you about Gandaberunda. So these kind of questions they ask you. If they ask you, you come to me, I have notes, I'll share with you. But otherwise, I don't share these notes because, first we have to understand the basics. But if people ask you specific questions, and which you feel that it is challenging and it is new, so those kind of questions you can bring, surely. So this session especially, I intended for that type of purpose. Any specific questions which you all may face when you are preaching, challenging questions, because you will see that if you can clarify the doubts of people, they develop more trust in you and in the knowledge you are sharing, and they are likely to become more serious, especially educated people. If somebody is an illiterate, they may they may agree for anybody. But when it comes to educated people, many of the people are seeing that so many organizations are popping up and everybody claims we are the right one. So for them to develop faith in Prabhupada and Prabhupada books and ISKCON and in what you are giving them, you should be able to give reasonable answers. Like one preacher went to a college and spoke about the soul. So one boy asked the question, sir, what is the proof that soul exists? So then the preacher was telling that Lord Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita, 2.13 you read, you will understand. Then the boy said, that is all right, but scientifically can you prove that soul exists? And then I can be convinced. Then the preacher said, that means you don't trust Krishna's words. Those who don't trust in God, they will go to hell, he said. So the boy felt this was totally unreasonable. This is like you are imposing something on my head. And the boy got up and walked out. He was not happy with the preacher. He said, these people are doing blind following. So later on, that preacher asked me, Radheshyam, what did I say anything wrong? I am repeating in Parampara. I said 2.13, correct verse only I quoted. I said, you made a big mistake, I told them. What the big mistake? Your answers should be reasonable answers, not unreasonable answers. So then he asked me, okay, you give me a reasonable answer, Prabhuji. He asked me. So I told him. When I got such a question, when somebody asked, I asked the boys, okay, is there any of you who is from electronics and telecommunication? I asked. So that boy who asked the question, he was himself from electronics. He raised hand, I am from electronics. Then I asked him, can you please catch one electron and give me in my hands? Because you are an electronics engineer. You're studying about it for 4 years. Just pick up one electron and give me. So he admitted that what to speak of catching and giving an electron, you can't even see it with eyes. Electron can only be seen on a CRT. That's the reflection of electron falling on a cathode ray tube. That can be seen on the screen, but you can't see you can't touch the electron, you can catch the electron. Then I told him, that means you believe that electron exists based on inferential logic. Is it not true? What is the inferential logic? Based on CRT reading, you are saying electron exists. In the same manner, I told him, if soul exists in a body, you can see if you criticize somebody, they cry. If you praise somebody or give them gulab jamun, they smile. And if it is cold, they wear a sweater. If it is hot, they want a fan or something. So the thinking, feeling, willing happens in the body. Consciousness is manifest in the body. And that is actually inferential proof that the soul is existing in the body from where this consciousness is manifesting. Like if there is sun in the sky, even without having to go out of this room, I can see through the window the light of the sun. Based on the light, I can infer that there must be sun in the sky. So in the same manner, in science you are using inferential logic. So what's wrong in spirituality if you use inferential logic? Then the boy said, that's perfect. That's reasonable. So when we are giving answers, you give them a reasonable answer, you got a devotee from them. You give unreasonable answer, they will walk out. And this is one of the reasons we lose many people. So whatever we speak should be sensible and reasonable for the people. So I have given you many examples now. I only pose the question and I only give the answer today. So now let us hear from any of you who would like to ask any such question.
So, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, please.
So, Prabhuji, I don't have a question about the youth asking, but I have a question as a preacher. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Prabhuji, in terms of youth preaching, we see that there is a very good system that has been put into place, Utkarsh camp, Sankalp camp, and, the whole way philosophy is introduced. And the atmosphere also that is given to the young children, when they are brought into an ashram or a voice center, and the way they are exposed to ISKCON in a very structured way. Sometimes these bodies suddenly want to, it happened that when I gave a session at Bit, some boys started contacting me and they wanted to come and meet me in the house. And, they wanted to get more closer, because their nature is like they're looking for more faith in speaking. So how much we as grhastha preachers should allow them to come and see us, what we are and how we are. And, our grhastha satsangs are a little different, the way introduced. So how much should we allow the boys to get into this?
One thing you have to be very careful with the college boys is Holiness Maharaj, is known as Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj. He often used to tell us that the young boys and young girls who are unmarried, their minds are unstable. They are unstable and fickle. So, because they are not in a stable ashram. Actually, grhastha ashram is a very stable ashram. But when the boys and girls are growing, the hormones secrete from 13, if you see, so they have their passions. So there is a tendency to live in a dream world. So we have to take care that they don't do any damage. We actually preach to boys separately, we preach to girls separately, you know that. Like we have in our girls' voice, where we have a group of girls who are all preached by the girls only. And Matajis. Similarly, we have brahmacharis preaching to the boys. So we keep them, boys together like that. And that goes on very nicely. So one thing we don't allow is that mixing. Because what to speak of outside world, even in devotee communities, when the boys come to marriageable age, the girls come to marriageable age, without the sanction of the counselor and seniors and parents, they start connecting on WhatsApp sometimes and start exchanging, I like you, you like me, and all those kind of things. And then sometimes the parents come to know when they try to match, even after the engagement is over, the parents tell the girl that 6 more months are there for your marriage, keep distance now. They don't listen. Many times it is seen that they start connecting on phone, trying to meet here, meet there, and they quarrel so terribly that the marriage doesn't happen. Even before marriage only they break because of too much trying to interfere with one another. So the tendency in the youth to connect with the member of the opposite sex due to uncontrolled mind and senses, like a monkey mind, monkey senses we say, is very strong. So we have to take care. You can't trust them, I would say. very easily. Even though they may be appearing to be very sincere and interested, they can put up a good show. So we have to be very careful. So what happens with brahmacharis? Actually, they can't do anything with brahmacharis. Because brahmacharis are monks, they are sadhu babas. You know, if they come, they can learn knowledge. But if you trust them and allow them to come to home and then talk, and other times they come, they can actually connect with somebody's daughter or connect with somebody's wife, and they can create headache and all. We should not allow that. So we have to take care and to make sure that that type of thing doesn't happen. At the same time, there are some boys who are above 25, they have passed out of the college, 24, 25, they are working boys. They are likely to very soon get married. I would encourage them to go to grhastha programs and all. Because when they go to a community, they feel very much at home also, and they are going to get married also, probably in a couple of years. They can go, and if you find them very cultured and well behaved, then they can actually even join the grhastha satsangs, because our college training happens up to the age of 21. After 21, when they come out, they live in different centers. Then we don't have a strong training program after that. After that, basically, they have Bhagavatam study, Chaitanya Charitamrita study, like that. Some of them do Bhakti Shastri and things like that. So in that time, if they connect with all of you, grhastha programs when they're 22, 23, 25, I think, especially those who already have made up their mind to get married, so for grhastha boys, we tell them 25 to 28 is the age when they should connect with grhasthas and learn how to become a very balanced and very nicely trained grhastha devotee. And for those who are joining the ashram full time, 21 to 24, in that age they should associate with brahmacharis in temples, and by 25 they join full time. So 3 years before joining ashram or 3 years before becoming grhastha devotee. So that is the time, is a good time for them to associate. In college days, they are very tender and young. They are very loose in their behavior and everything. So they require more of taming and training in college days. Is that clear, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, you also touched upon another point about boys and girls being preached separately. Usually, most of the colleges that I've gone, both the boys and girls together come and hear the session, like Bits Pilani or...
No. That is one-time program and device program. Actually, one-time program and device program, everybody is allowed for that.
Yeah.
And then when you do an ongoing training after that, when you do ongoing training, then we go to the game course, Gita for all made easy. When you are going to do that, in that course, it's a weekly once course. Eventually, we will have every morning half an hour, 40 minutes training also for the boys who are going to come and stay in a flat. In Pune, one couple is going to start a girls' voice also, a center. They are going to bring some 10, 12 girls together. They are going to stay together also with one leader, So, yes, we can have girls' centers, we can have boys' centers separately. And boys' centers are guided by men, girls' centers are guided by ladies. That can go on like that. Yeah. But one time and the device program, boys, girls coming together is not a problem. That.
My question actually is, when they ask us that why are you asking us to come separately? Because today it's like a, very common, and as you said, very...
Why do you use the word separate? Why do you use the word separate? You tell them that actually we have a WhatsApp group of the boys where the WhatsApp boys, they are invited for boys program. Similarly, we have WhatsApp group for the girls, and they will be invited by the Matajis, and they will go. We don't say that we are going to separate both of you. We don't say that. Why do you use that word? There is no separation. It's a men's program. Outside world, don't they have men's program or women's program? Do they have or not? Yeah. If outside world they can have, why can't we have also? Especially for boys. Like, we don't tell the congregation, for wives you'll have separate program, husband separate. We don't do that. That's not required. We do for the families. Correct, no? Husband, wife, children, But for example, if a boy or a girl belongs to a congregation family, that is different. Say, for example, in your program, there may be some teenage boys and girls coming, but they have their parents. They have their father and mother with them. So they will be well behaved, surely. Like we have Satyadevata Prabhu. He has his grown-up daughter, She's a Paka devotee, practicing, very nice devotee. So in the same manner, you will find you have your sons, 2 sons also. Many congregation devotees, children attend, but they know the parents are. See, when parents are there, their behavior is different. But when boys are away from home, when they are not with parents, when they are staying alone in the hostel, then they behave differently. You agree?
Yes, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Is it clear, everybody?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Like what happens, I'll tell you. Say in Boston also, I took 2 weekend camps. So I'm taking 12 to 15 boys for the weekends. But if you are going to take boys and girls together for the same camp, more than hearing lecture, they connect with one another more. They will not attend the camp. They will sit there under the tree. They will be talking. They will be connecting. That will be, and they will not care for you. Actually, the purpose will be defeated. You cook prasad and give them prasad for doing something else. So, but on the other hand, you take boys, they attend very seriously. Similarly, girls, see, girls' psychology is different. They prefer a lot of activities. Now, you can ask our girls' boys in Hyderabad, Matajis will tell you. They taught them teaching Queen Kunti little bit, and they also do a lot of activities. And like, for example, they teach them many activity-oriented. Ask Namrata Mataji or Ujjul Radhe Mataji. They give them a lot of activities, and girls will naturally do them. They will not like very long wounded philosophical classes all the time. I'm telling about general. I'm not talking about everybody. There may be some Mataji who is very philosophical also. There are people. But I'm telling in general. They like, for example, decorating the deities, making jewelry, making, dress for the deity, cooking for the Lord, so like celebrating festivals, training children. So the girls are very natural for them. So they have to be given more, I would say 40-50% activities. Other 40%, 50% can be for reading Prabhupada books and everything, little by little. Yeah. Yeah. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, I have one question to Vijay.
Yes, Prabhu.
It's related to, so basically a lot of people come to us asking for connection to voice centers or preachers across the country. And is it directly, Prabhuji, that we can say in particular place, so and so person you contact? So we had so many queries like that, even out of country, like in Los Angeles, things like that. So I'm just wondering, across ISKCON, is there any directive that we maintain so we can connect people when they go somewhere or somebody coming here?
Very important. Currently, what is happening? Many people write to me, and I immediately put them in touch wherever I have connections. And where I don't have connection, I connect them to Gaurang Prabhu generally, and then Gaurang Prabhu connects. That's what we are currently doing. But as you said, it would be nice to make a kind of database of connections. Also, it's a good idea. We can make it, and one risk in making such a database is, say for example, we make a database and float it to all devotees. Sometimes a person gets this database and uses our name and goes and connects, but he is not recommended by us. So then he may go and use our name to utilize facility and may create some trouble somewhere. But if somebody writes to us, say for example, somebody wrote to me and then I connected them, then I have some control. I know that who it is and all that. That's the reason. One example I'll tell you. In those days when I published the Essence of Bhagavad Gita book, big size book, backside I put all the base centers we had, Bhaktivedanta Academy for Culture and Education. So something like 12 or 15 addresses. So we put phone numbers, address, everything. So immediately next week I came to know that this Ritvik people had started sending back to Prabhupada magazine to all those addresses, because they got the copy of the book and they found the address and everything. They started sending and started regularly coming every week. So we didn't want it. In email you can say unsubscribe, but I don't know how to unsubscribe a mail that comes in. They keep on sending the book because the book is full of blasphemy and everything. So, and therefore, sometimes publishing addresses has certain limitations. But one thing we can do, as Praveen Prabhu suggests, we can keep such a database with all the preachers like all of you. We can give it to our own known preachers can have it. Yeah.
You can do it in internal database, not publish everyone, but probably for you and people you trust can have access to it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We can,
and then they can
help
connect. After somebody makes a request, then they can connect. That's a good idea, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks.
He is saying in India, there is IIYC, ISKCON India Youth Council, we call it. And it also has a north, east, west, south wings are there. And we have all the preachers database we have. Which place, which person is preaching. It's already there. It's well made. In India, it's already made. Yeah. If you want to connect anybody to any nook and corner of India, whom do they contact? Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Prabhu. Here.
Yes, but we have presence. So locally, like every region, they have a head presence. So Hyderabad, I am representing.
Yes. Yeah, he will have it.
Okay, thank you, that's
nice.
They
have 4 people, one for north, one for south, one for like that they have. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question, and Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Prabhu has been very helpful in terms of giving us an opportunity to serve the youth. So this is something that I have, the question that I have since so many months in my mind, Prabhuji. When we go to the youth preaching, to the engineering colleges or the voices, right? Most of the times it's going to be like first time interaction with the boys.
Yeah.
So what happens is we don't know their pulse, and when we interact, most of the times to engage them, probably the style that I use is I use science and technology. And in the introduction itself, as grhasthas, one of the senior devotees there would be introducing us with the degrees, qualifications, and jobs, etc. Right? So at the end of the session, probably the 5% or 10% would be questions related to spirituality, but the rest 90% of the questions would mostly be in terms of the career counseling. That's what the kids tend to reach us. So how do we handle that? So,
yeah, this is a big menace. Yeah. Actually, even when I gave my first youth program in 1993, 1992, I think, when I was in Pune, 40 people had attended the program. And the first question they asked, how did you get into IIT? That's the first question they asked.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So generally what we try to do, we give them very little material information and more spiritual information. Yeah. Like I tell them that, okay, I did only my master's. I didn't do my undergrad. I did my master's. I did GATE and, some 98% I got. And I got through this thing and went. But then I tell them that if you chant Hare Krishna, it will help you to clear up your mind and give you focus. It will give you concentration. You will do very well both in material life and in spiritual life. You will do very well. It helps you in every field. And then I tell them, even George Harrison, Beatles, he chanted Hare Krishna. He chants all over the world. Many, many great personalities chant. So I will start with IIT and then end with chanting. That's what I do with people when we are talking to people. And actually, many people don't even feel ashamed to ask. They openly ask that, can you please help me? Can I send my resume to you? Can you give me a job also? Openly they ask. People are very desperate nowadays. But one thing is true, that if you are working in a very enviable company, many people gather to watch you because they feel that it may be good to keep in touch with somebody big. So tomorrow they may help me. They feel like that. So they try to take your contact and write to you. So what I generally tell devotees, if you want to help any boy, who's a devotee boy also, you can give some opportunity for them to face an interview. But you should tell the company that take him only on merit. He has to, if you are satisfied with his performance in the interview, then only you take. Just don't give him job just because he's a devotee. Because tomorrow the company will catch you. They will ask you, you gave a boy and he is not doing well. So therefore we don't, if you're going to be a guaranteer or recommender, so you should put them on task to prove themselves on merit only, then they should take. There are devotees who are giving such jobs for others, but they tell the company that he's a good boy, I know, but you check whether he'll fit your requirement. Like that you can say and you can suggest. Yeah, but you can tell them also, okay, you are asking many questions about my career and everything. Let me tell you, I have my professional duty, family duty and devotional duty. After I added my devotional duty, the whole perspective of my life changed. Yeah. I could see the way Arjuna is seeing, he could see work as a divine thing that is ordained by Krishna for him. The whole world is working and making money, and devotees are also working and making money. But there's a big difference. You'll see Arjuna is actually working on Krishna's order. Similarly, devotees of the Lord, they are working in company. But for me, company life is only one of the aspects of my life. But my main life is, I'm not the body, I'm spirit, soul, I'm a devotee of God. I have come from the spiritual world, I have to go back to God. So these things have become crystal clear in my mind. So when you speak like this, then they get opportunity to know what is reality and what is temporary. I mean, what is permanent, what is temporary. So we can utilize that opportunity to give some little Krishna consciousness to them. Like, sometimes we tell about, what's his name, Steve Jobs, Jade Prasadam in ISKCON. When he appreciated, they say, wow, really, I didn't know that, really. Steve Jobs appreciated Prasad. Then we also would like to take Prasad. Yeah. So we can say things related to profession and devotion. Like that. We can do also, yeah. We have many slides on showing what the great professionals talk about chanting. That is very impressive for the boys. Yeah. Thank you. Anybody else?
Thank you.
From here, from Karadi, anybody want to ask any of you? And church, we can show them. Give them the mic. Yeah. Yes, Mahesh Prabhu. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Prabhu. It's not a question, Prabhu. It's just a small comment, Prabhu. And we really appreciate the efforts of Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Prabhu, and Vishnu Prasad Prabhu. They have really been gathered a good community and requested all our family members here to give sessions there. So it was a really great effort from the team of Vishnu Prasad Prabhu and Mahaprabhu Prabhu. So we really wanted to acknowledge that, Prabhu. Really, they did a lot of good work in gathering devotees there for the youth preaching sessions, Prabhu.
Yeah, and also they are also very thankful to all of you because they were actually struggling for qualified preachers like all of you. You have the best of both worlds. You all are grhasthas at the same time. You are having a profession on one side and you are also able to present business nicely. So it's a win-win situation for all of you and for the brahmacharis in the temple also. In Pune also we have been doing it last many years. But I find that Leelanand Prabhu is very smart, not only in giving his Sunday evening 5 to 8 program, but he is a kingmaker. Or we can say king and queen maker also, we have to say, because many Mataji preachers also. He's a kingmaker.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. So he is very smart in spotting out those who show the spark and empowering them as DCS and subsequently giving them individual programs, to go to different places. Exactly, he's following what Prabhupada did. Prabhupada would identify leaders and send them to different places to preach. And that is how you grow in spiritual life. Otherwise, you'll be stagnated. If you don't teach a person to preach, don't give him opportunities, then a person actually, after some years, they become dull in spiritual life. When they go out and preach, then they have their domain to preach and expand, and then they become eventually they also become very powerful. I heard that many of you are all doing program on Sunday morning, and then evening you come for the Leelanand Prabhu's program. That's a very nice combination on Sunday. So your whole Sunday has become yajna for you. It's a sacrificial offering to Lord. Very wonderful.
Thanks for the opportunity, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you again. Prabhuji, since we have already crossed the time, we had kept 7 to 8.
Yeah.
Still you have extended your time, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, what I really wanted is, I wanted to request you, Prabhuji,
Yes.
is this call, we can schedule it maybe once in a month.
Yes.
But we also need some in terms of how we can make it more effective for your, overall plan with the youth. Because see, we go there, we prepare a presentation, we might say something impressive, but is it fitting into the Utkarsh, Sankalp and all that you already kept into place?
Yeah.
How can we fit in better? And
actually, they can give. See, Prabhuji, 3 types of programs they can give all these devotees. One program is one time OTP. The another program is either discover yourself type of one of the topics or all the 6 sessions also, 8 sessions. And another thing is sometimes in a Sankalpa Spurti camp, we can give a video and a booklet, and they can conduct some of the camp sessions also sometimes. So my humble request will be, whichever session you are asked to give, especially the advanced sessions on Sankalp Spurti, Utkarsh and all, we have certain vital concepts covered in those booklets. So they should have a copy, soft copy of the booklet. They should have the video. They should hear it and make notes themselves. Be very clear about the subject, and then only they present it. Because in the past, I had some experience. Sometimes when grhasthas have to give a presentation in Sankalpa Spurti, they come there and they take the booklet and directly speak, but they may not cover the vital points. So, especially if they're covering a topic from Sankalpa Spurti or anything, there is a particular way in which we do. If we do it, then the boys become serious very quickly. Any topic they do from there, that I would request. Otherwise, OTP, whatever is going on, one-time programs and device, they have been very successful, very good. Now, Vishnu Prasad Prabhu has made, he told that 8 topics in 2 months we are covering. And the same 8 topics we keep repeating. So, many of these preachers who are giving on one topic, they'll become masters over a period of time. And they can repeat also. So, we have standardized 8 very vital topics for the weekend meetings. After that, we get people to go to device after that. And then and even the higher courses like Sankalp Spurti, Utkarsh and all, they all have their notes, booklets, PPTs and videos corresponding to them. It's very easy for these preachers. Whatever topic they are told to give, just prepare yourself, a week before, and then you come for presenting. Rather than directly trying to, like a guerrilla warfare, just take any topic and give. That's not very good. Because these are training. Once the boys come to 16 rounds and become inmates, then you can take any section of Bhagavatam, CC and speak to them. They are like serious devotees. But prior to that, the first 1 year is a very crucial and delicate period. If they hear some advanced topic at an early stage, like onion garlic, we should not talk about it in Spurti camp. We only talk about it in Utkarsh camp. If anybody says you should avoid onion garlic, the boy will get up and walk out because he is very young. He has not come to the chanting so many rounds that, he doesn't have the inner strength to give up onion garlic at that time. And eventually, as they keep giving programs with the brahmacharis going, they will learn these things, I think, over a period of time.
Yeah. I think it will help if there is a orientation for us on what is Spurti, what is Sankalp.
Yeah.
Because most of them don't know.
Actually, there is one thing, Prabhuji, called as, there is a DYS TTC, we call it. Similarly, Sankalp TTC is also there. There is a Spurti TTC also, correct? All are available. If teachers who are going to give regularly, ongoing, then they can just go through it. That's there this orientation is very nicely taught, elaborately. And that is a training for the teachers training course. It is. Yeah.
I will share that material with Leelanand Project.
Our can share, yeah.
And if required, Project, as Leelanand Project requesting, I can arrange meeting of those who are like prominent preachers and those who are already giving camp topics. They're meeting with like Pankaj Gopravu, Hare Krishna Prabhu, and those are like those like our Achyut Mohan Prabhu. Those are like very fully into this course.
Correct.
We'll arrange that for you.
Yeah. You can do that. And these booklets are all printed, designed and printed with colorful pictures, everything. They're very nice. In future, if many grhasthas equip themselves to give these camps, then we can scale our preaching to a very great extent. Currently, brahmacharis are only taking help little bit, but in future, there can be colleges where grhasthas preach and make a lot of students into devotees themselves. They not only come occasionally if they wish to take. In Pune, we had given like that. Vyasacharya Prabhu had given once. Krishna Kishore Prabhu and all we had given. Actually, grhasthas can preach just like brahmacharis are preaching. They can do the whole course also. Yeah. And now it's all available with links, hyperlinks and everything. You just click and download and take it, prepare, and everything is well streamlined now. Yeah. So thank you all for coming. And next month's date, I will tell you. I'll just
9th August, if it's possible. I think next 8th August, we are already engaged.
What is that, Prabhu?
9th August.
Oh, 9th
Tuesday.
August. Okay, bro. I'll just check it. Yeah. 1 minute. You're showing? Okay. Okay. Let me see. 9th August. Okay. 9th August is Tuesday.
Yeah. Because on Wednesday, it looks like you're engaged already.
Okay. Tuesday is good for me, evening, no problem. So I can keep it on Tuesday, this thing. Okay.
So, Prabhuji, anything you want us to come prepared for next session? So that
Just a minute. Actually, I will discuss with Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Prabhu and also with Vishnu Prasad Prabhu. Because they are the ones, I'll just note this 9th one. Just 1 minute. Yeah. Actually, what would be most fruitful, Prabhu, in these sessions? See, there are 3 types of preaching in our preaching to people. One is confronting the totally new people who ask many questions on either they are scientific or they are logical questions they ask. And once you give them that, then they are satisfied, they will become devotees. And the second type of people are those who have already come in, into the fold of regular programs and everything, and they get many doubts related to the philosophy of Krishna consciousness as opposed to other organizations presenting philosophy. That is the second category. They ask more religious type of doubts, they ask. And then there are third category of people who are actually Christian founders, inmates, they get advanced doubts. So these sessions I felt for level 1 and 2, especially when confronting new people and the growing devotees. Now, in that, if any of these devotees, in fact, they can even send questions before to Mahaprabhu Chaitanya Prabhu. Then when I come for the class, we can straight away start with our discussion. We can do that. Another thing we can also do in this session, I would suggest, is if many of you feel that no, we don't have any specific question, then there are more than 50 Prabhupada speaks out. Very, very beautiful Prabhupada speaks out. So we can take one Prabhupada speaks out and 2 devotees can read. One can take Prabhupada's role, one can take the other role. And how Prabhupada is very beautifully presenting dialogues and bringing out the philosophy will be learned very nicely. And the whole dialogue can be digested by us. After that, when I move the Prabhupada speaks out paper aside, all the devotees will be able to repeat some 4 or 5 points what they learned in that. That kind of thing we can do. So that way we learn from Prabhupada present fitting arguments when people ask questions. That is one thing we can do also. So we will see how it goes. We will see on 9th, I think 9th of August. It's public holiday, yeah? What is it? Muharram. Okay, Muharram is a public holiday that day. No problem, Prabhu.
Yes.
Devotees will find it easy. So Mahaprabhu Chaitanya, same Zoom ID?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So Leelan Prabhu, you have the Zoom ID. All of my belief have it, so we can meet again. No? Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki.
There are a lot of people from Vimal.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki.
So, thank you very much.
Thank you. And also Leelan Prabhu, many of these devotees, I think you have sent their name and their degrees, I think. Now, one more thing you can send is you can also make some the programs you sent long before. I was searching for that mail where you had written like Mahalingam Prabhu is going for some program, which place is going. So that kind of thing you had sent me long before. It would be very nice to have a look for me. Sometimes you can send it.
Yes.
So, today there are total 3 groups, Prabhuji.
Okay.
One is 11 Prabhuji group, which are helping in mainly Navadvip preaching and temple preaching, IMS.
Okay.
Then Vimal Prabhu's group is there. They are helping.
I saw
Achyut
Vimal
Gopal
Prabhu. I saw Vimal Prabhu. Yeah, Vimal Prabhu is there. Okay.
Vimal Prabhu and some of the devotees. Yes, Prabhu, Vimal Prabhu is there.
And then who else?
And then Kalyan Ram Prabhu is there, Prabhu, who is assisting Sarashin Prabhu in CMR and Mallareddy, that area.
Oh, okay. Okay, Kalyan Ram Prabhu is also there. Yeah. Okay. Very nice. And here there is Sanatan Prabhu's group also here in Karadi here today. They have joined also.
Yes.
Yeah. Actually, art of counseling course I did 12 sessions. After that I am doing this Malt on Saturdays, managers and leaders training. Now one thing I felt I haven't paid enough attention is the preaching aspect. That's why this is Preachers Forum. Correct? No? This is like a Preachers Forum. All the preachers coming together. And we are beginning with this. Eventually it will evolve as we go. Also, Leelan Prabhu, there is a request here from Karadi. Our Sanatana Prabhu is saying that if Leelan Prabhu can sometimes address all our preachers, we will be thankful, he is saying.
No.
He is going to invite you. He will send you all the Zoom ID and everything. You can visit.
So whichever is useful.
Yeah, you have his email ID and everything. Yeah, he will connect with you. Haribo.
Thank you for your time, bro.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So I have a question, Prabhuji, regarding this fifth canto. There are so many things actually. So, like you say, explain, the electron things very nicely. You explain to the person. So just like that, where Prabhupada, in the Prabhupada, it is said that moon is 8,000 miles away from sun.
Yeah, right.
And it is completely contradictory to science. Right. Science is saying. So it is completely opposite. And there are so many things like that.
You have this book, Vedic Cosmology by, that book is not Pavaneshwar Prabhu. There's one book which has come before that. In the last few pages, there is a question answer by Sadaputra Prabhu. In the question answer, this question is answered there. He has explained about Bhumandal and the distance between sun and moon based on the Bhumandal distance. It is not the point-to-point distance. Explains that. You read that? Yeah. You can give him. Actually, there is a book. There is this size book. The last part, there are about 15-20 pages of question answers. In that sun and moon distance, very nicely it is discussed there. You can see there, yeah. You see there, and if you still have doubt, Pavaneshwar Prabhu can explain. And also the Vedic Cosmology, we asked His Holiness Bhanu Maharaj when he came to Pune. Very beautiful answer he gave. See, for example, what do you call this? Table. You call it like a table. Now somebody can put this in the bathroom and take bath. Then what do you call it? Chair for taking bath. Correct? No? Somebody can take and cut it and use it as a firewood. Then you call it as a firewood. The same thing. Correct? No? You call it by a different name like that. Or somebody can take all this and hit nails and make a cricket bat. And then you call it as a bat. That means item is only one item here, but it may be called by different names based on the way you see it, you apply it. This is a very deep phenomenon. Just like, for example, the book will be seen by a donkey as a very nice lunch packet for eating, because he doesn't know anything to do with the book. A printing press wala, when he sees the book, he will see how much GSM paper, what is the font. For him, that doesn't mean anything more than that. Correct, no? On the other hand, if you give this Bhagavad Gita to some businessman, when you go to him, he uses it like a paperweight. On the other hand, if somebody is a religious-minded person, he opens it, reads it, and he benefits from that. So what Maharaj was telling, there are different type of visions of the universe. For example, he was telling when a yogi comes to the Turiya stage, Turiya actually means the fourth stage. We say Jagrati, Swapna, Shushupti and Samadhi. In the Samadhi Turiya stage, when a yogi looks at the entirety of universe, see, he gets such a vision that he can go far behind and see from the top of the universe to bottom of the universe. At that time, he sees this Vishnu lying below at the bottom, and then from his navel comes the lotus, and all the planets arranged around the lotus. That vision he gets, he said, our yogi. In the same manner, he said that the description given in the Bhagavatam 5th canto is certainly one angle in which the universe looks like what it is explained in that, with Dhruvatara in the middle and all the other, just like this is connected now. They are all connected they revolve around it, all the things. This is a particular type of vision which is seen and described by Shukadeva Goswami here. Correct now. Now, when you talk about Kepler's laws, for example, of motion, a planetary motion, it is not that Kepler can see the planetary systems like I am seeing from a tabletop. I am seeing, it's not like that. Their talk is mostly based on, for example, the warmth of the sun and how cold it becomes, how hot it becomes. Now the sun is near, now the sun is far. They drew some elliptical path and they expected that maybe these equations are like this. But there are people who oppose those equations also. Like sometimes, for example, two different people may, like, is light wave or is it a corpuscle? One scientist is saying corpuscular theory, another one is saying wave theory, right now. And both have their evidences. Then what will you do? And both are proving that one is saying it's corpuscle only. Because it's like somebody catching an elephant and saying elephant is only a rope only. One fellow is saying an elephant is a pillar. An elephant is a trunk. Elephant is a soup. There's different things they say like that. But then we need somebody who can give us a complete picture. Correct, no? So when it comes to scriptures, ultimately you will see that scriptures also say many things which are not immediately provable. But scriptures give many things which are provable also. Similar science also. Then it says many things which can be practically proven in laboratory. And there are many things science says which cannot be proven. So, like for example, let us draw a chart like this. This is Vedas, this is science. Both can be proven to some degree. Beyond that, you cannot prove. This is also proven beyond that. So now what happens with us when we all hear these evidences? Somebody heard more science and less of Vedas. So he develops credibility in scientists. So then he believes in their version of what the world is. So somebody has heard a lot of Vedas and you are saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there are hundreds of things Vedas say are true. So his credibility has increased in Vedas. Then whatever the Vedas say, which he can't prove with his mind, he accepts it. That's not blind faith. If they call this as blind faith, then this is also blind faith. Correct, no? Like, scientists are saying that everything came from Big Bang. Kisne bola? Tumhara baap ne bola? Your father has told this. You can ask them. Kisne dekha hai? Have you seen it? Can any scientist say that one high density atom was there? We have seen it, how it exploded. Has anybody seen this happening even once? And they are saying it's beyond conception of space and time. You can challenge them. They will be thoroughly, on their hands and knees. You go to Google search, just put origin of universe. 20 theories are there. None of them are accepted by any of the scientists. And Stephen Hawking, he spoke way back in 2000. He said, I will give you a grand unified theory. One differential equation which all the boys, girls can put in their t-shirt. And the whole universe can be explained with only one differential equation, only. Like that he said. Now how many years passed? In 2018, you know what he declared? He said that after observing the universe, I found that the universe is highly complex, and nobody will be able to explain it with one differential equation. But my good news to all of you scientists, you can go on researching and your research will be endless. He said, and after next month he died. 2018. Yeah. Actually, you can see the arrogance, you can see. You cheat the whole world saying that, come, I will show you. And then open the bureau and say, nothing is there. And then say, you will never find anything inside. Okay, now you get lost. So I would rather follow Krishna's words than following such words of cheating scientists. You can see that. What have they given you substantially for your values in life, for the character in life, for meaning and purpose of life? They have nothing. It's a big cocoa hollow. Because they don't know anything beyond atoms and molecules. And you should read it in the words of Schrodinger, for example, what Schrodinger talks about scientists. You can read that. He says that science talks big jargon, he says. But they cannot explain the beauty of a flower, the smell, fragrance of a flower, the taste of gulab jamun. Because when it comes to the realm of consciousness, and experience and feeling. Science is a big zero. Science is not even a toddler. Science is a non-entity in this area. So you should read what he says. So 3 things we can do. One is we can actually read the intelligent. Prabhupada says people like Einstein or Schrodinger and all, Prabhupada says they are like Timingala fish. They go deep in the ocean. And they honestly admit what science knows is very little. And other scientists or atheistic fellows are like tiny fishes in the superficial surface of the ocean. They have never seen what is pearl. They have never seen. They are atheistic. They are blind to that. And they will be swallowed by big fishes also. You will see that. The big scientists, their words are taken more seriously. You will see that Einstein and people like Schrodinger, they have written. So therefore, in our DOS, we quote those statements they are quoting. Yeah. So that is one thing we can do in order to ourselves develop faith in the words of scriptures from the scientist's mouth. They are very great scientists. Second thing we can see is the purposelessness of the world that science explains. It is nothing but a collision of atoms and molecules. They have no meaning of life. There's no purpose of life. They have nothing to bother about values or morals or ethics or anything like that. And they have no understanding of what is love, what is emotion. So it is like, actually there are many things which are very close to your heart and science says nothing about it, like the Schrodinger says. And there are many things which are detailed for you, not so important. Science talks everything about it. It's talking about dead matter so much. It doesn't talk about the living spirit even one word. And what's the use? So when we think about the goal of life, meaning of life, purpose of life, then that is second thing. And third thing, spend more time studying the Vedic literature and see what are the things in the Vedic literature which are eventually proven by science, and science has been a toddler. For example, Vedas said plants have life, chara achara, 1,000,000 years ago. But only in 1903, Jagdish Chandra Bose proved it. Till then, scientists thought plants have no life. How late they are in understanding, but how early the Vedas have understood. So like this, we can quote hundreds of things. I have one file called Vedas and Science. I have been little by little adding to that. Recently, we added. You sent the latest one, also Sanatana Prabhu. In that, many more things are added to that. So now you will have hundreds of hours to sit with that. There are so many videos are there. So many slides are there. You watch Vedas versus science. Many things are there. So now after seeing all those things, then you will know that Vedas have spoken many, many things before the science is slowly discovering. And that increases the faith in Vedas. So when the faith in Vedas is increased, then the credibility is increased. Similarly, then you can look at science from that vantage point. Then you will see that they are simply bluffing, and such because they gave you a smartphone or aeroplane doesn't make them great souls. These are all application of already exist. Think about it. For example, we are using a mobile to talk to somebody in America. It looks like very impressive. But if these waves are not there, there are AM waves, FM waves, electromagnetic radiation, alpha, beta, gamma rays, and all that. If these waves which are created by God are not there, our mobile would not be any better than the small pencil box the children use as a mobile. You know that? Mobile box. What will be the difference between your mobile and their mobile if these waves are not there? What these waves are they created by man or by God? These waves are created by creation of God. They're already there. So they are hooking on to God created waves and claiming that they have done something great. So Prabhupada said, give God the Nobel Prize. Prabhupada said, this is exactly like what? In villages, a farmer doesn't want to pay electricity bill. So he will put a hook. No one is there to put a hook. And then draw electricity. And these guys are doing that only. You hook on God's energy and then you draw from it and use, and then you can use it to talk against God. So therefore, when you observe more and more, after studying the scriptures, then you will see that. But what happens with us, if you see, we are bombarded more by the atheistic fellows all around. And we don't get enough time to get deeply into Shastra also. Because they neither allow it in the school or college. Correct? They are afraid. They know that very well. If these fellows go deep, when Ian Stevenson came up with the reincarnation theory, many scientists became afraid. Because then when they put faith in reincarnation and God, they will all run to God and scriptures and they'll kick us out. They will be out of business. They won't get research grants. They'll be out of job. That's why many times there is a suppression. Prabhupada says, There is a deliberate planning going on to keep the holy places dirty and unkept, so that people will not become very pious and satisfied in life, because they want them to be passionate and working hard. Working hard for what? Working hard for nothing. Yeah. Actually, these type of topics are very good for this monthly one meeting. Correct, no? When we bring up, then people may bring up, and also we don't have to complete everything in one class. We can have one class. We can also share some materials with others. If preachers come together and keep discussing these kind of things, when they go back, they will empower themselves. Sharing, I think. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jai Shri
Thank you.
Prabhupada ki